I'm Rob from Barefoot Gaming, and today we're going to look into whether these little vibrating wrist straps that you see promoted all over the place actually help anything for VR motion sickness. Let's do this. Now, as a VR enthusiast myself, I have been bombarded on Facebook by relief band ads all over the place. I see a picture of a guy that spent a week in VR that swears by these things, and I just keep seeing this ad pop up, pop up, pop up. This is the fix for VR motion sickness. What? I ask myself, there's a fix for VR motion sickness? And yes, I absolutely suffer from it in certain situations. For example, Boneworks will throw me into motion sickness almost right away. I don't know what it is about Boneworks, but that'll do it. And this is not to be confused with dizziness, okay? Any of you that have experienced motion sickness know what I'm talking about. This is the sort of thing that'll get me laying on the floor, closing my eyes, and just hoping it's going to pass and that I'm not actually going to throw up. So I go online and I reach out to a bunch of different companies that make these devices, because Relief Band is not the only company that does this. And nobody gets back to me. Nothing. Not a zip. Now, Relief Band is not available in Canada on Amazon, or at least not as I'm recording this. However, Emiterm is, and it's an anti-emetic device that works exactly the same way that Relief Band does. And how does that work, you ask? Good question. What it does is it has two little metal panels that create this impulse along your nerves, along your system, and there's very clear instructions on how exactly it gets used. You have to use 2 fingers away from the bend in your wrist, and you strap it to the inside. The 2 metal points make contact. In this case, you hold the button in till it turns on. You press the button again once to increase the power, press the button again to increase it again. If you want to decrease it, you press it twice. This is not a review on how to use the product. Needless to say, I was very interested, and I tried going into this with an open mind as possible, genuinely not knowing if this was going to work. So I follow all the directions. I hook it up, I run it on the inside of my wrist, I turn it on, and I can kind of feel a little bit of a buzz. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's, not quite in the right position. I move it around a little bit and I leave it. So about 5 minutes later, I can kind of feel it buzzing all the way up my wrist and into the palm of my hand and into some of my fingers. And I check it out, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, I want to be fair, so I leave it on for half an hour before I jump into Boneworks. And that's exactly what I did. I jumped into Boneworks and I ran, and almost instantly I felt motion sick. But you know what? I was like, maybe it's a little bit less than I used to feel when I did it without, maybe, right? So I kept going, which was a major mistake. I got so sick. And I ended up, again, stuck laying on the floor, waiting for it to pass. I waited till the next day, and I put it on my other wrist, thinking, you know what? Maybe I didn't leave it on long enough. Maybe it wasn't in the right position. And the other wrist, again, I got the same sensations. There's a picture showing exactly where you're supposed to feel it. I felt it in the same place. And son of a gun, I jumped into Vivecraft. Vivecraft is another one that if I jump in Vivecraft, like with the button instead of physically jumping, that's another one that I feel relatively quickly. And I went to games where I knew I had little issues like that, and honestly, I have felt kind of motion sick all week because of this. This does not work for me. I cannot say if this is going to work for you. Now, I feel I have to put that as a caveat, because maybe this does work for other people. I don't know, but it's doing exactly what it says it's supposed to do. It's buzzing in the right area. I can feel it up my arm, and it does absolutely nothing for motion sickness for me. Now, keep in mind, this is coming from someone that spends a lot of time in VR without motion sickness bothering me. I wanted it to work, and it didn't. Everything is built well. The thing is, but for a $100 plus device, I think this is $140 or $130 Canadian, it's not doing anything of what it says it's supposed to do. So what are my final thoughts on this? I think this is snake oil. I think this is something that will maybe get your mind off of what you're doing, but right on the box, it is advertised as helping for VR motion sickness. Right on their website, right on Relief Band's website, it all promotes VR motion sickness to be gone. It will fool your body into thinking that is not an issue. That is a crock of crap. It doesn't do that at all for me. So this thing is going back. If you have any questions, let me know. I love hearing from you, and I will talk to you again real soon. See ya.